You don't want to encourage him at all. In fact, I'm always saying, hey, Jake, this song.
Spirit is our source, our strength. We honor it with each breath we take. One heart, one mind, one power. In the name of love. In the name of love. You build the bridges, I'll tear down the walls. We'll make a world that works for all. One heart, one mind, one power. In the name of love. In the name of love. In the name of love there is the truth behind the light we live. Nothing hides the light we shine when we're standing side by side. One heart, one mind, one power. In the name of love. Every face is a face of love. Every voice is the voice of love. Every name is the name of love. We all come from a place of love. Every face is a face of love. Every voice is the voice of love. Every name is the name of love. We all come from a place of love. Every face, the face of love. Every voice, the voice of love. Every name, the name of love. One heart, one mind, one power. In the name of one heart, one mind, one power. In the name of love. In the name of love. Joy and peace in my heart. Always I feel joy and peace in my mind. God within revealed joy and peace.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Bellevue. Whether you are joining us in person or online, we welcome each of you to this sacred space of oneness, of blessing, and of peace. My name is Monica McDowell Elvig. I'm a center administrator here and the presider this morning. We have an awesome team helping to lead our Sunday services. Susan Neidig was our meditation leader. Our board host today is Paul Roof. Welcome, Paul. Shelley Lish, our board VP, is our offering steward, and she will also be leading the Q&A after service this Sunday. Our guest speaker is our favorite Sufi, Brother Imam Jamal Rahman. We welcome him back. And our guest artist is our local favorite too, Stephen Plummer. Yay! So welcome on this Labor Day weekend. We ask you to open your hearts to love to each other and enjoy the service. And Stephen is going to lead us off with our community song, Blessing to the World. Stephen.
Good morning. Good morning. It's so wonderful to be here with all of you lovely people. Okay. All right. Here we go. You are the heart. You are the heart. You are the hands. You are the voice of spirit on earth. And who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart. I am the heart. I am the hands. I am the voice of spirit on earth. And who I am and all I do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth. And who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. You're a blessing to the world. I'm a blessing to the world.
And so we invoke that divine blessing that is in each of us and in all of us. We call forth a greater expression of who each of us are and all of us together. Everything we are, everything we do is a blessing to the world. In this sacred space, we draw breath into our core, drawing in life force energy. We expand in our core the love, the joy, the peace, every good thing within. We expand it, and then with our out-breath, we share it with everyone here and in the virtual space. We breathe in again this life force energy, sharing it with all. We give thanks for our breath, for our life, for our community this time. We declare and we affirm that this space is sacred. This time is sanctuary for our souls. Life is good. We are so grateful, and so it is.
There's no sound, but that's okay because, hey, we can do this, right? I won't even use the mic. Okay. Love on, dream, peace. What would Jesus say? Love, what would Buddha say? Oh, Rumi says, see yourself in the mirror of me. Dr. King said, dream. Gandhi said, peace. The Tao says you know the truth by looking inside. Inside. Love all. Dream peace. Join me. Love all. Dream peace. Love by looking inside. What would Jesus say in love? What would Buddha say? Oh, Rumi says, see yourself in the mirror of me. Dr. King said, dream. Gandhi said, peace. The dial says, know the truth by looking inside. Inside. Love on. Dream peace. Love on. Dream peace. Love on. Dream peace. Love on. Dream peace. By looking inside. By looking inside. By looking inside. By looking inside. All right, nice job, everybody.
Thank you, Stefan. Perfect song for today. The reading that I've chosen is from our local mystic poet that I've read from before, Shalon Harkin. It popped up on my Facebook feed, and it was the perfect one as well for today.
All right.
So open your spiritual ears to hear what Spirit will say to you through this poem. I am certain that if God is anything, they are a transgendered autistic black being who is so excited with reptiles, they made dinosaurs ascendant for millions of years. I am certain that if God is anything, she is a great lover of science, the genius behind the motivation to make quarks and nuclear fusion, elemental reactions, and orbits. I am certain that if God is anything, she is a wild painter with ADHD who will not stop her creative impulses to pour her muse over all existence to tend to trivial matters. I am certain that if God is anything, she is the ultimate heretic who would be excommunicated from most holy places for telling you to disrobe your innocence. I am certain that if God is anything, she is an eccentric adventurer who invented the religions to kiss each other, for Christianity and Islam to run off together like two wild lovers in the night, to whisper to each other the enticing languages of their amorous secrets. I am certain that if God is anything, it is a child that has not for an instant been interested in wrath, whose single commandment is to discover your tenderness, who since time immemorial has been invoking your original joy. We give thanks for these words. And for our affirmation this morning, I am going to read it through once, and then we will stand and affirm with our heart's conviction these words as one voice. But first, by myself, we are a beloved community who are passionate about awakening people and transforming the world. We radiate and express loving kindness, acceptance, and compassion. This is the impact of the Christ consciousness. We belong to each other. We are a blessing to this world. And so it is. Please stand and let us affirm together. We are a beloved community who are passionate about awakening people and transforming the world. We radiate and express loving kindness, acceptance, and compassion. This is the impact of the Christ consciousness. We belong to each other. We are a blessing to this world. And so it is.
let's see what we have. I hear a little bit. Something's going on here. Okay, so I wrote this song a number of years ago as well. And it's called I Give God Praise. And at the end, towards the end of the song, it's like a melody that you can just sing with me to give God praise, if you choose to, in your heart or openly. God is everything. God is all in all. God is so divine, everlasting light, the sun that shines, the stars at night, and so much more, so much more, so much more, yeah. Every breath, every breath, every move, every move, every tree, every bird, every sound and every word. The moon in the sky and the mountains up high, and you and I, you and I, you and I. I give God thanks for all my days. I'm glad for this time, yes I am. I give God praise. I give God praise. I give God praise. Sing that with me if you want. I give God praise. 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 Yeah, 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 yeah. I give God praise. God praise. I give God praise. I give God praise. God is everything. God is all in all. God is so divine, everlasting light, the sun that shines, the stars at night, and so much more, so much more, so much more.
My dear friends, what a genuine joy and pleasure it is to be here. And thank you for that beautiful music. You know, we're talking about Rumi. Rumi has this wonderful utterance. He says, music is the sound of the spheres. And we have been part of this harmony before. And these beautiful sound of the instruments and the sound of the voice, it keeps our remembering fresh. So my friends, today I'll talk about Uncle Rumi. And why is it important to talk about Rumi? How does it benefit each one of us? For me, and for millions of people, he represents what can happen to me and you if we raise our consciousness and open our hearts. His famous words, you can hear through the heart, bird song in the egg. And everywhere you look, you will weep with wonder. And when you see all these polarization, differences in religions, in politics, this and that, from the heart, this song comes up. Oh God, you have created this I, you, we, they, to play the game of adoration with yourself. But it requires us to do the work of, as I said, raising our consciousness. But mostly that Rumi talks about, please open your heart. Again, a quote from Rumi, please open the window of your heart. Open the window of your heart. The moon will kiss you only through the window. So just some clarification. He is a Sufi. A lot of misunderstanding. What is a Sufi? A Sufi is simply one who originally is a Muslim, but who, rather than get involved and enmeshed and stuck in the tanglement of theology, would just like to live the spirit of the tradition. That's a Sufi. So it's a heartfelt aspiration. And what is Rumi's connection to the Quran? Maybe you know, maybe you don't know. Rumi, 13th century Rumi, is a very well-known Islamic scholar, theologian. Very connected to the Quran. His utterance, sometimes before he would quote that beautiful poetry, he would say, I'm a slave of the Quran. I am dust on the path of Muhammad. But he has some other verses also, again, some utterances. By the way, when your heart opens up, happened to Rumi, when his heart opened up, when the level of consciousness was raised, he began to hear inspirations and whispers of divine secrets from those mysterious sources. He very seldom wrote. He would just hear these voices from those celestial dimensions, and he would just utter them. And his family and friends would write them down, and the collection of that has become Rumi poetry. So what the Qurani also says, I've taken the marrow from the bones and thrown the bones to the dogs. It was not meant to be disrespectful. He's saying, it doesn't matter what's your religion, what's your holy book. Take the essence of it and live it. And let the theologians quibble about this theological point and that theological point. So, very quickly to tell you, every holy book has two kinds of verses: particular and universal. Particular verses are in desperate need of historical and textual context. Universal verses are timeless, placeless, filled with wisdom. The problem arises if I take a particular verse and advocate that as a universal verse. Okay, just be with that. Today I'll be quoting poetry, and it's very good, of course, to be able to quote wonderful words, but too much of that, Rumi himself would say, be careful, it might cause spiritual indigestion. So I shall pause after every quote so that you could just take it in. You can allow it to, as Rumi says, perfume your heart. So let me start with a particular incident. You know, Rumi was a scholar. At a very young age, he had mastered the Quran. I mean, he had gone deep into it. Till he met this wandering hippie darvish. Darvish like a person on the threshold of two worlds, a holy person, whose name was Shams Tabriz, who lived far away. But as I said, he was a hippie, holy human being, long hair, big beard, wild, but he was in possession of divine secrets. And throughout the ages, people who have been in possession of divine secrets, it's like coal in your hand. You want to share that with somebody. It's too hot. It's burning. And he would always pray, is there no one I can share these secrets with? No answer came. But finally, one day, an answer came. Yes, there is one. His name is Muhammad Jalaluddin. That's the real name of Rumi. Go in this direction. And he did. And where was Rumi? He was in the courtyard with his adoring students. Remember, he was a very powerful intellectual, a well-known professor at a very young age. And he had these ancient manuscripts, and his adoring students in the courtyard were just listening to him. And suddenly, who bursts in the scene? Who scales the wall so rudely? This wild-haired, long-bearded, holy person, Shams Tabriz, who goes to Rumi and says, what is all this? Reading. Everybody's stunned and shocked. Who is this wild guy talking so profanely to our famous professor? And Rumi looks up in a sarcastic way and says, you won't understand. What does Shams Tabriz do? He grabs those papers. He goes to this fountain. He just dumps it inside the water. And everybody's aghast. Rumi comes running. My God, those are ancient, valuable, historical documents. And as Rumi rushes, Shams says, stop. And he takes out each page. The moment he takes it out of the water, they become bone dry. So now Rumi says, what's this? And Shams Tabriz says, you won't understand. And that is when the process started of this deep friendship between Rumi and Shams. And Rumi's heart began to open up with all these spiritual exercises. He moved from a knowledge of the tongue to a knowledge of the heart. And his heart opened up to these incredible mysteries we are absolutely drenched in, immersed in, which we just take for granted. First one, who am I? And by the way, Rumi, he would read the verses of the Quran and then burst get into a trance, and words would just pour out of him. Who am I? See, the Quran says the human being is very noble. Yes, there is your water and clay personality, but God has also put its breath into you. Within you is that divine spark, that Christ nature, Buddha nature, Elohim nature, Allah nature. The human being is not only noble. In the Quran, there's a verse that says, God asked the angels to bow to the human, to bow down to the human, meaning the human can rise higher than the angels, but also because of free will can sink lower than the most savage of beasts. But the potential within the human being is astonishing, the Quran says. Can rise higher than the angels. So Rumi goes into a trance. And what are his words? About the human being. You are a ruby. You are a ruby. You are a ruby in the midst of granite. How long will you continue to deceive us? For we can see the look in your eyes. So please return to the root of your real self. Which is why in Islam, there's a lot of mysticism, a lot of sages. Because you're a ruby in the midst of granite. How long will you continue to deceive us? For we can see the look in your eyes. So please return to the root of your real self. Again, another utterance of Rumi, you are more precious than heaven and earth. You are more precious than heaven and earth. Sell yourself for not so little a price, being so precious in God's eyes. Just be with that. Do I really believe that? Okay, second, why am I here? Why am I here? Why are you here on planet Earth? The Quran says we are here, and I put it metaphorically, for a divine exchange. What is a divine exchange? To bring divinity and not my ego in the center of my life. It's a constant daily, weekly, monthly struggle, effort to become more loving, more compassionate, more forgiving, more giving, less angry, less impatient, less selfish, less greedy. This is a wonderful revelation that came to the Prophet Muhammad in a dream, where Allah says, I was a secret treasure. I was a secret treasure, and I longed to be known. And so I created you, and the worlds visible and invisible. And so Rumi has poetry about the greatest mystery about this is simply this, that I am not the seeker. It is God who is the seeker. His poetry, as he goes in trance, it is God who suffers his absence in me, who through me cries out to himself, herself, O thou I. God's most holy, greatest mystery. We are intimate beyond belief. There have been other sages in Islam who have said, for 40 years I've been seeking God, and finally I've realized that God is the seeker and I'm the one being sought. Another poetry, not only does the thirsty seek the water, water also seeks the thirsty. Prophet Muhammad said, peace be upon him, you take one step towards God, but you got to take that first step. Take one step towards God, God takes 10 steps towards you. Walk towards God, God comes running to you. So it's a great mystery. Why am I here? Now comes the mystery of God. And Rumi reads those verses in the Quran, many verses in the Quran about God. The one I've repeated many times here, in the Quran it says, if all the trees in the universe became pens, all the 7 oceans became ink, and you began to write out the words of God, the mystery of God, you wouldn't come close to coming to a understanding of the fraction of the fraction of the fraction of the fraction of God's mysteries. What does Rumi utter? Those famous words I've repeated again and again. Rumi goes into trance. About God, about the invisible world. Sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment. Sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment. In other words, just be in that awe and wonder. Be sweetly bewildered. Be in the joy of that astonishment. If you read Tao Te Ching, there's a verse which is very beautiful, corresponds to me, very close to this. It says, when people lose their sense of awe and wonder, that's when they turn to religion. When people no longer believe in themselves, that is when they turn to authorities. So maybe all be in a space of sweet, joyous bewilderment. Okay, another one. In the Quran, Allah says, we are closer to you than your jugular vein. We are closer to you than your jugular vein. And by the way, where is God? Where is God? A Muslim mystic will ask. Again, a revelation came to the Prophet Muhammad in a dream. God says, beloved one, tell humanity. God says, I cannot be contained in the space of the earth. I cannot be contained in the space of the heavens, but I can be contained in the space of the pure, loving heart. So the mystic says, it's beautiful, Jamal. You go to Kashi, you go to these beautiful sacred spaces, Mecca, Medina, here, there. But you forget God is within you also. Rumi's verse utterance, again in a trance, beloved one, if you don't find me inside of you, if you don't find me inside of you, you will never find me, because I've been with you since the beginning of you. You know, there's a Bengali poet, Tagore, who writes, why has my devotee wandered to seek me, forsaking me? Just be with that. Another one in the Quran is there's a verse that says, God encompasses all vision. No vision encompasses God. God encompasses all vision. No vision encompasses God. Well, Rumi again goes into trance and exclaims, the lover visible, the beloved invisible. Whose crazy idea was this? But then, take notes, says the mystics, of what Prophet Muhammad said. In everything you say, in everything you do it as if you are seeing God. And if you cannot see God, know that God sees you. Maybe just one more from the Quran. The Quran says, everything which dwells upon the earth and the heavens is perishing, yet still abides the face of thy sustainer, majestic, splendid. Everything which dwells upon the earth and the heavens is perishing, but yet still abides the face of thy sustainer, majestic, splendid. What does Rumi come up with in his utterance when he goes into trance? It's an advice. He says to each one of us, no matter what plans you make, no matter how many titles you attain, riches you acquire, the thief will come from the unguarded side. Therefore, invest in that, focus on that, be engaged in that, which can never be stolen. Love, compassion, forgiveness, service. Okay, just be with that for a few moments. So now Rumi says, if you really want to raise your consciousness, if you really want to hear the bird song in the egg, connect to divinity, you've got to do this inner inconvenient work. And what is this inner inconvenient work? It's about two parts. One is transforming the ego, our personality, which is nothing more than a bundle of conditioned reactions to life's circumstances. And the phrase is in the Islamic spiritual lingo that you want to transform your ego, that I, me, from a commanding master into a personal assistant. And there are three stages in the Quran. I won't go into that. Let me just summarize what Rumi says. He says, this is the work. Simple sentence. Marry your soul. That wedding is the way. I repeat, marry your soul. That wedding is the way. What does that mean? Every hour, every day, every week, every month, make every effort through compassionate self-witnessing, to align the elements of your personality more and more with your higher self. Marry your soul. That wedding is the way. Be with that for a few moments. Am I doing that? Now comes the heart. The Quran says, bring to God a beautiful heart, a purified heart, a sound heart. Jamal, what can you offer God? There's nothing you can offer God. Everything you have is from God. All you can offer God is a pure, polished heart. You see, the Quran says, when you think evil thoughts and you do evil behavior, it creates a rust on the heart. It's a verse from the Quran. And Prophet Muhammad said, for every rust, there is a polish. And the polish for the rust of the heart is remembrance of God. What is remembrance of God? It means using God's solvents, patience, love, compassion, forgiveness, to polish the heart. But it's not easy. Again, Rumi. Jamal, if you get irritated by every rub, Jamal, if you get irritated by every rub, how will the mirror of your heart ever be polished? And what's the big deal about a polished heart? Well, the Quran suggests that's all you can offer God, a polished heart which reflects the face of Allah in it. Another verse in the Quran says, open my heart, open my heart, open my heart to thy light. Rumi says, this is about a difficult work of embracing, Jamal, Brother Jamal, not only your 10,000 joys of life, but also your 10,000 sorrows of life. It's a world of duality. There'll be joys and there will be sorrows. Can I also embrace my difficult feelings? Allow my heart to break, not push it away. 2 verses from Rumi. Take a pickaxe. Jamal, take a pickaxe and break open your stony heart. The heart's matrix is glutted with rubies. Springs of laughter are buried in your chest. Open up your heart. It's okay. That's why I've heard many of you quote here that verse from Rumi, the dark thought, the shame, the malice, greet them at the door laughing, because each one has been sent as a guide from beyond. But here's a warning from Rumi. Don't run towards difficult feelings. Don't run towards pain and suffering. Just don't run away from them. Just be with that for a few moments. Make sure there's no indigestion. Okay. Prayers. I love that verse in the Quran that says, pray in the small watches of the morning. Early morning. Because the Quran says, at that time, words are most eloquent, impressions are the strongest. What does Rumi utter when he gets up early morning? He says, no one knows what makes the soul wake up so happy. No one knows what makes the soul so happy at this time. No one knows what makes the soul wake up so happy. Just maybe a dawn breeze has blown away the veil from the face of God. Just maybe a dawn breeze has blown away the veil from the face of God. And by the way, there's a wise idiom, increased necessity. When you pray a supplication, pray with increased necessity from the depth of your soul, from the core of your being. Rumi says, oh God, I shall cry to thee and cry to thee and cry to thee until the milk of thy loving kindness boils over. Do you want proof? Rumi says, look at a mother. Look at a mother. Only when a baby is born does the mother's chest become filled with milk, because there is an increased necessity for that. Service. Be of service. Rumi says, be a lamp, a lifeboat, or a ladder. It's your best investment. Prophet Muhammad's last words before he died was, do righteous deeds that will please your sustainer. The Quran says, Quran says, God is beautiful. Do that which is beautiful. Oh, God is beautiful and God loves those who do what is beautiful. That's the Quranic verse. God is beautiful and God loves those who do what is beautiful. And I think you know this verse from Rumi. When you read that verse, again, trance. Let the beauty you love be what you do. Let the beauty you love, says Rumi, be what you do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. And so here's the advice given by Prophet Muhammad that all the Islamic mystics ask us to invest in. The Prophet Muhammad said, do good deeds according to your capacity. I emphasize, according to your capacity. God never tires of giving rewards unless you tire of doing good deeds. The good deeds most loved by God are the ones that are done regularly, no matter how small they are. Very important last sentence. The good deeds most loved by God are the ones that are done regularly, no matter how small they are. Brother Jamal, I ask you, my dear friends, what are some good deeds you're doing regularly, no matter how small they are? Okay, so bring this to a close. Just 2 quick points. One is about time. Time is very precious. The Quran says, be conscious of time. Be conscious of God. Make sure you're doing what needs to be done before, and the Quran says, before death overtakes you. What is it you need to say? I love you, I forgive you. Don't procrastinate. Do it now. What is it you need to do? Do it now. Prophet Muhammad said, it is better to blush in this world than in the next world. Rumi, travelers, it is late. Travelers, it is late. Life's sun is going to set. In the brief moments that you have time, please, I beg you, spare no effort of your wings. Another verse about time by Rumi. Childhood, youth, maturity, and now old age. Childhood, youth, maturity, and now old age. Every guest agrees to stay 3 days, no more. Master, you asked me to remind you. Time to go. And if I still don't get it, Rumi has a harsher verse. Brother Jamal, listen to this. Death is hoarse from shouting. Death is hoarse from shouting, but you refuse to hear. Death is hoarse from shouting. From so many astounding blows, death's drum skin has split. But you have enmeshed yourself in trivialities, and only now do you apprehend the mystery of death. And the Quran suggests every death is very beautiful. You have no idea of the joy the soul feels in going home. The Quran says, oh, serene soul, return to your sustainer, pleased and pleasing in God's sight. Join my righteous servants, enter my paradise. So Rumi says, how marvelous was the way you quit the world. How marvelous was the way you quit the world, the way you ruffled your feathers and breaking free of your cage, you took off for your soul's world. A love-sick nightingale among owls. A love-sick nightingale among owls. You caught the scent of roses and flew to the rose garden. And by the way, says Rumi, don't be scared. He says, I've read the Quran. My heart has opened up. Don't be scared of death. And I'll end with that. Rumi says, Jamal, Brother Jamal, you're so scared that you might soon go into non-existence. But if the truth be known, non-existence is trembling in fear. It might be given human shape. My friends, just be with that. I'm looking at the time. I'm just going over by 2 or 3 minutes. A short meditation. So let me do a Quranic recitation. I've mentioned the Quran so many times, and I've done this before here also. Join me in chanting H-U, who. Who. It's like Om in the Islamic tradition. Who. And keep on going. But give it voice. Who. Keep on going. Who. Keep on going. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم الصراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. And now in the Sufi tradition, after this, you got to do a chant. Praising God. God doesn't become holy, we become holy. Allahu Allah, Allahu Allah, Allahu Allah, Allahu Allah. More voice. Allahu Allah, Allahu Allah, Allahu Allah, Allahu Allah. One last time. Allahu Allah, Allahu Allah. And just 1 minute of silence. Close your eyes and listen to what Rumi says about silence, gleaning insights from the Quran. Rumi says, please know this. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the absence of the little self. Another one? Silence is the language of God. Everything else is a poor translation. Just become very still and for a few moments focus on your nostril and just be present with the breath as you inhale and as you exhale. The Sufis say, Allah is the breath within the breath. Can I connect to the breath within the breath? I'll be quiet now. Keep on being with the breath. I'll end with a chant. At the end of the chant, you can open your eyes. It's about the infinite compassion of divinity. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. La ilaha illallahu. La ilaha illallah. You can open your eyes. Dear friends, thank you so much. Blessings to you. Thank you.
You have such a wonderful voice.
You have such great taste.
I know. This is very true. I just saw you on TV, by the way, last week. You were on a show where everyone was, talking together. And I loved everything you said. So. This song I wrote a number of years ago as well. I have written some new stuff, but this song came to me one day, and the words came out very quickly. And I was like, okay, wait, God, I have to hurry up and write this all down. So I was like, oh, so all these songs are going to fit into one song? And then I heard, yes. So this song is called You Are the Pattern of Love. You are the pattern of love. You are the pattern of love. What are the colors? What are the shapes? What are the sizes? What is the face? Are you a circle or are you a stripe? Can you scream it with all of your mind? How do you live? How do you dance? Are you willing to take a new chance? Are you willing to give it your all? Are you willing to answer the call that you are the pattern of love? The pattern of love. If God called, would you pick up the phone? If God said you're perfect, so just leave yourself alone, would you believe it? Or get scared and run on home? Or lace up your shoes and come out and play along? Play along. Play along. Would you come out and play along? Yeah. Life is a game, but it's real too. Life is for living, for me and you. Life can be easy, life can be hard. Life is a chance, so pick up your cards. Dance every dance, sing every song, light every candle all the day long. When night comes a-calling, you'll be ready to go, knowing you found it and it overflows. Found you, the pattern of love. You found you, the pattern of love. What are the colors? What are the shapes? What are the sizes? What is the face? Are you a circle or are you a stripe? Can you scream it with all of your might? How do you live? How do you dance? Are you willing to take a new chance? Are you willing to give it your all? Are you willing to answer the call that you are the pattern of love? You found you the pattern of love. It brings joy. It brings joy to know you are the pattern of love. It brings peace. It brings peace to know you are the pattern of love. It brings life. It brings life to know you are the pattern of love. It brings life. It brings life to know you are the pattern of love. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You are the pattern of love. I am the pattern of love. Yes, I am. You are. God is pattern of love. Pattern of love. Thank you.
Good morning, all. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Stephen, for that wonderful music. We are the pattern of love, and thank you, Jamal, for your special blessings and messages here. You truly speak the unity spirit, I believe, And I want to thank you all for being here. As I think about that first song that you were saying, dream and peace, look inside. That's what we're all here to do. And I give thanks and praise. Every day I do that, and I hope that you incorporate that into your lives. And I love Rumi. He's so wise. Open the window of your hearts. That's what we're all about here, is to open our hearts and walking towards God, and God will see us walking towards him. He will run to us. What a wonderful message. And these days, it's good to know that we have that kind of blessing in store for us. So if you're here for the very first time, either online or here in presence, we are grateful for your presence here, and know that you are welcome anytime in the future. And Monica will actually share some information available for you guys that are here for the first time. But we're here at that time in our service where we're here to give thanks and share our blessings with this community that gives us support and inspiration and hope and joy. So if you would join me in our offering affirmation, I'd appreciate that. And of course, there are these ways to give if you don't want to. We do have a basket out back there, but otherwise you can go online and give these other ways. If you join me, please. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Let us give thanks. We give thanks for the generosity represented in these tithes and love offerings. We give thanks for the givers. We bless these gifts knowing that they are going to do a great and mighty work in our community and the world as we awaken people to their true natures, as we transform the world into one that works for everyone, where everyone experiences the world as blessing. We are so grateful, and so it is. Good morning again. I have some announcements for us. If you are joining us for the first time in person or online, we welcome you. We have welcome packets for you. They're to the left of the sanctuary doors as you exit. Inside that welcome packet is a coupon for 20% off anything of your choice in the bookstore. There's also a connection card we'd love to have you fill out. Online, you can find that on our website, unityofbellevue.org. Go to the I'm New page and select, click on the welcome packet. I'm happy to send that to you. You can also fill out the connection card online. We'd love to hear from you, so reach out so that we know who you are and so that we can bless you in a lot of the ways that Unity of Bellevue blesses each and all of us every week. The best way to stay in touch with everything that's happening, however, is to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter. You do that on the bottom of every page on our website. There's that sign-up form that comes out every Thursday morning and tells you all of the events that are going on in our community. The prayer chaplains are here to pray with you every week. If you have any prayer requests, you can email them to them at the email address posted. There's prayer request cards in the seat backs on the website and by the south entrance door. They'll be back next week for a prayer circle following service because today is Q&A Sunday. So that means you can stay after. We'll take a break, and at 11:45 we'll start our hybrid Q&A for your chance to hear from the board what's been going on and also to ask your questions about our principles, policies, and practices. That's hybrid, so we will be live streaming that on this same live stream. Sisters in Spirit meets this Tuesday night. It's Tuesday because of the holiday, 6:30 p.m. Dorothy Bostetter is going to be facilitating, and she will be leading on the subject of mindfulness. So join us for that. And this Wednesday is World Day of Prayer, Wednesday and Thursday. We're going to have a service on Wednesday at 4:30 here and online. I'm just going to explain a little bit about that because there's some particulars about this that are unique to this service. So if you are coming to attend here in person, come here. We'll have the service at 4:30. And then we'll have some handouts for you too. At 5 o'clock, we're going to switch and we're going to live stream on the screen Unity Worldwide's World Day of Prayer service. So we're going to stream their service onto our live screen here. So that's what's happening in person. If you are going to join us online, you can join us on the same launch page or Facebook or YouTube, however you normally join us, like on the Sunday morning. And you'll find that on the website, on the launch page at 4:30. And then at 5, you're going to need to switch to the Zoom link that Unity Worldwide has offered for joining with them. So the Zoom link is posted on our launch page for that. So just some clarity around that. The men's group is meeting this Saturday at 8:30 for breakfast and spiritual discussion. Join them in the friendship room. And spirit groups are coming back this fall. If you would like to host, please see Susan Neidig. You can also email her, smallgroups@unityofbellevue.org. There will be several orientations for host offered the last week of September. So there's several options. They're going to be online orientations, and everything is provided to be a host. If you are interested in donating a memorial tile in honor or memory of someone, we do have forms now available online and at the bookstore. And just a little note about Pet Blessing Sunday. It's coming up September 18th. So bring your pets or bring your photos of pets. If you join us online, you can email me your photos. And that's also our Unity in the Community service this month, as we are collecting pet food and pet toys and pet supplies and everything having to do with pets. The crate is in the atrium. A big thank you again to Brother Imam Jamal. We are so grateful for your presence, for your light. And to Stephan Plummer, always, for her wonderful music. She brings the spirit and the soul. Yes, yes. Next week, Reverend Denise is back continuing her series on Sailing the Seven Seas, and Rana Yellowrobe is our guest artist. So join us. And we're going to close out with a peace song with Stephan, followed by the prayer for protection. Stephan.
I'll get my words out. Every church does this song a little bit different. The words are a little different, so we get the words that are correct for this church. Okay. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me, let this be the moment now. Every step I take, let this be my joyous heart. And take each moment and live each moment in humanity. Have a great day.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, everyone. Have a great holiday weekend. Love to you all. Blessings.
goes looking for me. God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Spirit is our source, our strength. We honor it with each breath we take. One heart, one mind, one power. In the name of love. In the name of love. You build the bridges, I'll tear down the walls. We'll make a world that works for all. One heart, one mind, one power. In the name of love. In the name of love. In the name of love there is the truth behind the life we live. Nothing hides the light we shine when we're standing side by side. One heart, one mind, one power. In the name of love, every face is a face of love. Every voice is the voice of love. Every name is the name of love. We all come from a place of love. Every face is the face of love. Every voice is the voice of love. Every name is the name of love. We all come from a place of love. Every face, the face of love. Every voice, the voice of love. Every name, the name of love. One heart, one mind, one power. In the name of one heart, one mind, one power. In the name of love. In the name of love. Joy and peace in my heart. Always I feel joy and peace in my mind. God within revealed joy and peace in my life. I am healed. I am one with God.
Hi, good morning. Or good afternoon. We're almost there. Thank you. Hello, welcome to our Q&A, the first Sunday in September. So thank you all for being here. I'm sorry, I'm just getting settled here. So for those of you that have been here before, you know that, oh, by the way, I'm Shelley Lish. I'm your facilitator today, and this is my first time facilitating the Q&A, so bear with me. Thank you. Appreciate your patience. Paul Roof, of course, and Sharon Wolf are here. We are missing Jean Palmatier, who is our board president, and she is on her much-needed vacation visiting her family in Iowa, which is great. Reverend Denise is also on vacation, and I believe she's in Canada, enjoying some well-deserved family time also. Everybody's getting their time in before we head back into this fall. And Joy is also on vacation. And who am I missing here? Dorothy, yes, of course. Dorothy is, I wonder if Dorothy's online in Texas. No, not yet. Okay. All right. So, for those of you that have been here before, we have the extra chairs for all of our absent board members. And then our 7th chair is simply for the Christ consciousness in the room. And it's also a welcome for anybody that would maybe find their way onto the board. We would love to invite anybody that might be interested in joining us. So thank you. We have a list of actions that have happened in the last 30 days. And welcome to all of you online also. For those of you online, this list and notification is also available to you to click. Is it a download, Monica? Yeah, just a download to be able to review what we've done in the last 30 days. So I will head right into the 30-day action. In the last 30 days, we have moved forward as planned with the creation of the Board of Trustees website with intent of improving visibility and communication with our community. Right now it's in the draft phase and on track for community release by the end of September. After board review and validation, we want it to all work. Once implemented, this will provide a one-stop shop for the board meeting minutes, Sunday Q&A handouts, notification, and other important updates on policies as they occur. Board action plan, and to be published on this website as the website is released or as a web page is released. You can also view previous Q&A recordings currently posted on the U of B website about us and our board. Check them out anytime, and it's the website is there for you to access. We have talked about the board induction ceremony, and we attempted to schedule that induction ceremony, but we found that it was in conflict, and I don't mean it's a conflict, but the Pet Blessing Sunday was scheduled on that September 18th. So instead of trying to put so much into that particular Sunday, we've decided to put this, the induction off and forego it for 2022 and look at that in 2023.
We figured there was no competition amongst us, and you guys all know who we are. So figured we have been duly inducted already. It's the way we feel.
Yeah, no question. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate that. All right. So headed into the COVID policy, we have reviewed the CDC tracker data on August 15th in the board meeting. Based on Washington, by county, CDC tracker risk levels have been steadily declining across the U.S. for several weeks. And you can see that legend to the right. In King County, the risk level fell from medium to low for several weeks. We have agreed that provided the risk level remains low, we will target a policy change effective October 1st, which will make masks optional. We'll keep an eye on this throughout September. Policy changes should occur, will be communicated via email or on or about October 1st. Governance Committee is set to kick off in September, and Jean is heading this up. Youth and Family School opening. We're working through an opening date, and with Sabrina out and she's healing from her back surgery, it's just kind of stopped and halted what we're doing for now. But please know that the intensity and the wish and hope is that we will get Youth and Family back up and running, But of course, we want everybody that's in charge to have their say, have their voice, and make sure that everybody feels good about opening youth and family. Our first choice certainly is to support our youth and support that next generation of Unity congregants.
And if you guys have any questions, Shelley is our board liaison to that adventure. I'll call it an adventure that we're going to launch into soon.
Yes. Yes, and I'm working with Sabrina, but the time is halted right now. We have a board retreat scheduled on September 17th with the focus of on our short-term organizational strategy and identifying priorities for the next 12 months. One output of this meeting will be a revised committee and team structure that better defines when communications are needed and with whom. We'll also discuss how best to vet potential income opportunities. So this retreat is going to be held, it's an all-day retreat, and it's out in Rainbow Lodge, is that right? Rainbow Lodge in North Bend. And so we're all looking forward to that. We're really excited about the strategy, and Jean is such a great leader and putting that agenda together for all of us to really push forward. Reverend Denise conducted a visioning session for the senior minister on August 14th, and that's certainly available online if you'd like to go back and revisit. What we know is that what we as a board is needing from the community include in all your daily affirmations, our abundant, our blessing of abundance and prosperity, and that we're a thriving community, and we're looking to keep that consciousness at the highest level for our center. We're also really wanting, in order for us, I should back up a little bit, in order for us to be able to open effectively the youth and family program, volunteers are needed. We are looking at the ratio of adult volunteers and trained volunteers to the number of children that would be present, and we really want to be prepared and do this right. So volunteering and being of service in that regard is essential. All right. And that is all I have right now. I think that I would open that up, Monica, to what?
Actually, I have something to add.
I'm sorry, thank you.
With regards to the visioning session, were you guys here when we did the visioning and did put everything up on the paper over here on the side? I'm involved with the search committee, and the search committee, Allison Allegory, did a great job of tallying that up. And so if you want to see the results of that, that is available. The first highest three priorities were to have in our new minister, one that is founded in unity principles, number one. Number two was that they have a strong interest in children's programs. And number three was that they have a strong interest in music development. So I wanted to make sure that word got out, that those are the three highest priorities that we have. And like I said, if you have any questions on that, we can get a copy of that forwarded to you.
Thank you, Paul. Perfect. Good insight. Questions? Hi, Susan.
Hello. Hello.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you. It's been 24 hours.
It has been yes. We got to spend the day together yesterday. It was lovely.
It was great. So I've got two sets of questions. The first is around what Paul just talked about. Reverend Denise had asked the prayer chaplains to write a prayer that we could give to the entire community. So I need that output so that we can, so more than just the top three, some of the other things that we could put into that.
I'll give you a copy of that here soon.
Yeah, if you send that to me. The other is around the governance committee. So can someone speak to that, or should I just, so I have several questions. One is, who else is on the committee? And what's the intent? I mean, I have an assumption that I'm making that it's to align the bylaws and the policy manual and the employee handbook. But who else is on it? I'd be interested in serving, but I could not possibly do anything until October. So who else is on it, and what's the time commitment, and what are you doing?
They're all great questions. Excuse me. They're all great questions, and I wish I had a full-fledged answer for you, Susan. But I think that is best asked to Jean. She's really heading up that governance committee, and I would be out of line by trying to answer any of those questions. Thank you. Anybody else? It wouldn't be a Q&A without Linda Hillesheim, and I'm super happy you're here. So glad you're here. Thank you so much.
I had a question too about the team and committee structure that's being devised. Is that something that is going to be put together and said this is how it's going to be? Or is there discussion on how we do it? Or is it just a board decision to figure out how we're going to structure that? Or will it be presented to the membership to see if how that's laid out as something that is workable for the groups that already kind of exist and how they would fit into the structure that's there? So that's your question. And I forgot my other question, so that's the only one.
Okay, hold on. Don't go, because I know you have another question. I know it'll come up. So in this next session of retreat, committees are on that agenda. And so how and why, how that is all going to come together, I think will be discussed and will be discussed on that agenda at that board retreat, and we'll have a better answer for you. I'm sorry I don't have that, because I don't know exactly what that structure is going to look like until after the 17th, and we've had some discussion around it as a board.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to think of, some of the things that we would have committees and groups for. I know for fundraising, and in the past, we would have started, the men's group often has had the picnic, in September here. So, we're trying to be consistent in doing what we're doing. And, I don't know if that's happening. And the Holiday Bazaar was something that the Women Connect group used to do, and then it kind of became part of a position. So that sort of thing kind of comes up. So I don't know, and I'm not sure about the fundraising committee. That was something that was mentioned, and I don't know if that's meeting. There was kind of a structure with that. So, as it stands, until that happens October 1st, there's a month of things that we're kind of working on. Also with the landscape group, we had started meeting the second Sunday after service. We'd done 2 of them before last month, I think it was, where we had discussed what we were going to be doing in the upcoming months, and that would be next Sunday, and we only meet like for 15 minutes. I was going to send the word out about that just for a really short meeting and go over, because it's been discussed that it's not a plan, but a number of people that were not participating in the grounds review that we had with the professional, Bill Shields and the designer and the arborist, to relook at that and kind of put it together a little better of what that is, and then maybe have the lead designer come and check it out for us again so that we have an overall plan. Because we did that, and that was really a good thing to do. So I think that would be a discussion point, and then also a way for everyone to check in when they're doing work, because there's a lot of work. People are here. I'm here at least 10 hours a week. I know Jim Powers. People are in doing a lot of different things, and I think the board is unaware of how that's happening in the way that we report our volunteer hours. Just trying to think of what an easier way might be for people who don't really log into Breeze. Is that what we're still using, Monica? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of the thought.
Thank you. That's really good input. And as far as the men's group, we're meeting next Saturday, and I'll bring that up because other people have talked about having fond memories of that fall get-together, and we called it fall homecoming, something to that effect, to have a meal served by the men's group in the friendship room. And so I'll bring that up at our next Saturday's meeting. And then with...
If there was just an outline of there was a way we could write down everything that we know has been there so that we continue what we have, even if decisions are being made about how you're going to structure stuff. So, because half the time it seems as though people
So look at putting dates and events on a calendar to for events that had taken place in the past that you'd like to see revisited? Is that the...
Hey, Linda, would you mind coming back up to the microphone? Thank you.
I'm just saying that, COVID stopped for us for a little bit, but there's still things that we've talked about and people have run in the past. So I don't want to forget that people were involved and would, put it out there and say, this is the time when we would do this. Are these groups that still have worked with in the past be interested? I know, with the Holiday Bazaar, we did a smaller version of that with a few tables. So there are some things that we've done. And then I think even upping the fundraising element of some of those, because I used to do it with Youth Ed, and we'd have a table, and they would get money from that. And the fifth Sunday of the month was always Youth Ed. They would do a potato bake, and we'd get money. So there were some things that were in place. New ideas are great, but just revisiting what we might have had that's common knowledge and ways that we could, because it looks like we're looking for more support, and the ways that people were familiar with coming here and being involved with other issues. Other things.
Well, COVID certainly put a dent in a lot of activities in every church. Yesterday we had a meeting with Shad Groverland from Unity Worldwide, and it's not just unique to us. We're not the only ones that have had this experience where our community has shrunk down to near nothing. So that's one of our focuses, to how to rebuild that, how to get interest back here. And that's something that we will be working on in the future. I'll be putting together a report for the board shortly as the findings of that workshop were yesterday.
Yeah, and I went to the workshop too, which was really good to be at. One of the things was, Unity of Seattle is opening. Their grand opening is next Sunday. And one of the things is that we don't talk about other Unity groups. Like, to me, it would have been nice to announce, they're opening their facility, just sharing information about each other, because we're very isolated in each church, in each spiritual center. So I think it would be nice if there was a conduit, maybe it's someone on the board who is that connection to region, to whatever, and would bring information about what's going on. I'm glad we're doing the World Day of Prayer, but just that consistency and checking in with everybody, because we used to go to other people's services. Youth Ed would connect with each other when they had smaller groups. So I think it's something that would be good to do.
You're absolutely right, and Reverend Shad did ask me about that yesterday, whether we do have meetings with other church groups. And I think in the most recent past, our ministers have not been Unity-founded ministers. And that's one of the reasons I think so many people said they want somebody that's Unity-founded, because I think it'll be the minister's responsibility to reach out to Linwood, to Seattle, to South Sound, to the region, to keep us better informed. Because that's something I did mention to Shad, that I've personally felt isolated here in Bellevue, not knowing what else was going on at other churches. So, Linda, you're not alone in that.
Thank you, Linda. You bring some really good points, and here she comes again. Yay.
I apologize.
Don't apologize, please.
I also, and I think we had Unity ministers except for the last one. I think everyone had been, that I recall, had been a Unity minister, so it's just been the most recent that it's been that way. I also just wanted to mention the Eastside Interfaith Social Concerns Council and the things that are going on the East Side and the different meetings that are being hosted. I saw from the meeting yesterday that the idea of diversity and all those inclusion things, that's what this organization does, and I will try to do a better job of sharing that information. Usually it was another member, either of the board or minister, that would be a co-member with me on that board, but every second Tuesday at noon, it's a Zoom meeting, and I'd like to share that a little bit more so that, the affordable housing is coming up, and I think it's not Black Lives Matter, but that whole diversity issue is this upcoming one. So there is an avenue for us to connect with the rest of the community on the east side too.
Thank you, Linda.
And I stand corrected. Yeah, yes, our most recent minister was CSL and not Unity. Reverend Paul Benalia was definitely Unity. And, we've had Unity ministers, but I would go back to saying, I think it's the responsibility of the minister to be our leader and our conduit to get in touch with other churches around the area here. So we'll at least I'll put in my 2 cents worth on that to our new minister, and probably put that into questioning when we do interview prospective ministers.
Hi, Susan.
Hi. So I'm struggling with how to phrase this. So I think with the new, is it the integrated ministry where it's more of a decentralized leadership and more leadership within the church is, I think, what we're moving towards. And I think that's what Reverend Denise is supporting the board in and our whole transformation in. And so I would offer a slightly different perspective on that I feel like our most recent history, we had a CSL minister and we had a board president who was not a long-term unity person. And so accessing a lot of the kind of unity network and kind of the corporate unity, that was not in my DNA. It wasn't something that was modeled for me. So I think it's kind of like there was that perfect storm that said, we don't need to do that. But in fact, I think you might bring this up in the retreat. How do we stay more connected with that and connected to the region in particular? Because I think some of this work is going on at the region, and I just don't think we were connected at all. And it's not a shame or blame, gee, we shouldn't do that, but I mean, that shouldn't have happened, but it is, how do we learn from that and how do we connect to our region so that we are more a part of that network of unity ministries? I'd like to see us do that.
Building our community beyond ourselves.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
And drawing on the resources, I think that's what I realized. There was support for me as the board president that I didn't know was there. And I think that's what SHAD is trying to do, is that whole community, that whole organization is trying to support the ministries, trying to support the boards, trying to support the communities, and we just didn't access it.
Well, it was, and Susan, to exactly what you're saying, and my being very new to Unity, being very new to, and then like the board immediately almost, or that's kind of what it felt like. The cliche of we do the best that we can with the tools that we have or that we have awareness of. And as our collective awareness is being raised, board training, et cetera, no darts at anyone. We are simply finding our way through new paths and new windows and doors being opened to create a stronger community within these walls and beyond these walls. And to me, that is really exciting, because Susan and I actually sat next to each other at this workshop yesterday, and there was new awarenesses for both of us. It was like, oh my gosh, what a great idea. And these little light bulbs are going on, and it's learning how to incorporate that light into ours so that we all shine a little brighter. So thank you.
So I just want to say that learning from what has gone on in the past 5 years has continued for me over the last 6 months. So it's been a process of letting go and a process of saying, what is mine to learn from all of this that's going on here? And it's been part of my spiritual practice to do that. And so that's kind of the learning that I'm sharing. It's not to say, hey, we were wrong, hey, we didn't do the right things, but it's just to say, what did we learn from that we can now share and offer to the board, that as you go into your retreat, that you talk about these things. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks.
Yay.
Thank you, Susan.
And I want to give hats off to Susan and special thanks for your involvement with the prayer ministry. And she has devoted time and her own funds to become a certified prayer chaplain through the Unity Network. And I would love to see us develop this, because at one time we had a very strong prayer support group. And I would really, under Susan's leadership, I think we're going to see that come back into play, and we'll get more people involved in our prayer ministry here. I think that's really a great thing for us to have. And here comes Kathy. And Monica has a hand.
And what's the status on the Little Free Pantry?
Oh, that's me.
That's another story.
That's another. I can answer that.
Okay.
So we have had, first of all, there was a little bit of turnover. There was a couple of things that happened. First of all, their process for getting the funds changed after we said we were going to do it. So first of all, the process changed, and then the person changed. So, and we had it all set up this week that we were going to have Ken meet the person at Home Depot to get the stuff, and the guy has vertigo. So we had to cancel. So we're still trying to put that together. We're on top of it. The latest that I've heard, I haven't even talked to Paul about this yet, so I don't want to put him on the spot, but Ken is offering his truck while he's gone. So if Paul or somebody else wants to go and do the connection with the person that's going to buy the wood. And then we do have to buy some more stuff with some our non-religious funds. So we'll do that. But so it's in the works. It's just been delayed because of changes and things. So
Really?
amazing how that happened.
No, actually, I was in touch with Ken. Got a hold of me, and they are on vacation here for the next 3 weeks, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has given me the phone number for his son and daughter-in-law, who live next door to them. And anytime I want to use the truck, it's available. So whenever we get that worked out, we'll find a compromising date that I can get over there and pick that material up, and then.
Okay.
And we have another volunteer. Yay!
Okay, and I just wanted to remind anybody online, we can see your questions if you want to type them in on Facebook or YouTube. So that's how we see your questions. We don't have any, but I just wanted to remind
There's
them.
no questions.
We have 6 or 7 people.
Welcome. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here. Any other questions? So I just want to make a comment on from what Susan said, and you know, I so appreciate that perspective of what is for us to learn, and we don't have time to sit and point a finger or question or any. We just don't have that kind of time. Our time and our effort and our perspective should be focused on how do we make this center thrive? How do we make this a loving place that people want to come and enjoy and learn from, because there is so much here. There's so much to be proud of, and there's so much to be grateful for. And I just really appreciate that perspective in the spirit of unity. That and also I reflect back on what Paul said to me. Just in passing, we were talking to somebody, and he just said the 4 agreements. And the 4 agreements are now something that are just top of mind for me, and I really appreciate that. So, anyway, in this moment, in this lovely Labor Day weekend, you know, we just want to move forward with every effort that we have to grow this beautiful center. So, thank you. Any other questions? Are you good?
I'm good.
Are you good? Are we complete? Monica?
Ellen,
Do you
did
have
you have a
anything?
question? Oh.
Anything from you, Miss Monica?
No, I think we're good.
Monica's the glue. All right. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Thank you online for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Have a great weekend.
Hey, and thank you, Jim Powers. He's the volunteer extraordinaire.